Greetings, travelers! Welcome back to Tales from the Enchanted Forest with your animal companions Fox and Sparrow. If you've been following us on Twitter and Instagram at Tales from the Enchanted Forest or at From Enchanted, then you will know that it is our 1-year anniversary!
Woo! Yay! I can't believe it's been 1 year.
So technically our anniversary was on the 12th and we did put up a post celebrating, but we are keeping in time with our release schedule, so this will be up on the 18th.
Yes, this will be up on the 18th.
It wasn't even the 12th. That was when we actually released our episodes, but we started this probably December of the year before.
Yeah, so 2020.
Yeah, and I remember we were hashing it out, we were talking, we were worrying, we were panicking because we were like, what do we talk about? How do we talk about it? What do we do? How do we edit? How do we write our show notes? What is our interesting thing?
Yeah, little known fact for the travelers, we actually recorded a lost episode that was like our first go at it, and it was garbage, so we didn't put it up, but we learned a lot from it.
It was on the Emperor's New Clothes, which was our very first unreleased episode because we spent a long time prepping it, and then we realized it was just chunks and chunks of one person talking and then the other person talking. It was like a lecture.
It really was lecture-y. We hadn't even implemented the summary portion of the podcast yet. It was more, we just thought, we're just going to break down the story. Like, everyone knows the story. And then you thought of afterwards, like, hey, what if we just actually told the story and then we gave our thoughts along the way? Which has been a really good move for us.
Well, listening to our episode, I was like, what if someone doesn't actually know this story? And here we are diving, like, it's not like, a modern media thing either, where most people know the general story. Some of these stories, like at the sources, people have no idea what the actual tale is and what the different elements are, the different characters. So it's like talking about a movie to people who haven't seen the movie or who've only seen the trailer. It's strange.
And it's like, in retrospect too, like, I don't know how we would have done it with something like Beauty and Pockface or like Jack Springens. Like, people would just be lost when we're trying to break it down and having not heard the original tales. Yeah. Especially how wild they can be.
And wasn't it like, I think it was over an hour long, which isn't unusual for our episodes, but it was just really weird.
We recorded, I think, for 2 hours, and I edited it down to like an hour and 20 minutes. And it was really chunky and choppy. It was not good. Well, hopefully we'll come back to that story eventually, whenever we have the energy to reanalyze it.
Yes, and then we can talk about the Sagwa episode that touched upon it, because I love Sagwa, and anytime I have to talk about it, I will.
Sagwa, you're my best friend.
She is. I really think it was those kind of stories, because I remember all of our like childhood stories on TVO Kids. They were all just a little bit folklore, a little bit fairy tale-y. They had just enough. Like, even Arthur had Baba Yaga.
Yeah, it's true. Did you know Arthur ended recently? Like, the whole series was, like, had a season or a series finale?
I'm trying not to think about it because my siblings and I would watch it in the mornings. And then afterwards, when everything went streaming and we had, like, our streaming devices, we would watch it because I think all of them are on YouTube.
Oh, really?
So we started from the beginning and we watched our way through. We binge watched Arthur as adults.
What? I have not done that yet.
You should. Honestly, it holds up. I think it holds up. I don't like the Canadian family of the Moose family. I don't like the new Moose family. They're weird.
Elliot?
No, Elliot.
Elliot's a moose, right?
Who's Elliot? Do you mean George?
I guess I'm thinking of Elliot Moose.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Elliot Moose is on the loose. That's a completely different show.
No, but there was a moose in the show that I remember.
I think you're thinking of George, the really quiet one with the orange shirt.
Yeah.
Who likes carpentry.
I liked George. He was cool.
I remember that they've added in this new Canadian family. I don't really like. Oh no, the older sister I don't mind. It's the younger brother. He's really annoying. And he's not sassy like DW. He's just annoying.
DW is a gem. Okay, we've gotten really off topic here, but that's par for the course.
Yeah, sorry. What are we talking about? What is this podcast about? Not childhood TV shows. Anyway, so when we first started the podcast, it was as a way just, to keep in touch, to talk about our favorite things, to learn some new skills. And it was in like the middle of lockdown. So we were just constantly bored. I feel like everyone was just bored and looking for things to do.
Well, we were watching a lot of movies, and that's when this started. We were watching Rise of the Guardians.
Oh,
and
yes.
We were both talking how much we love fairy tales, and I just kind of casually at the end of it thought, you know what would be great, Fox? What if we just, did a podcast about fairy tales? One of those things where I was half joking, but half also going, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. But also not expecting you to say anything. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. And I was like, what?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. We should run with this before she changes her mind.
Well, it's because I didn't realize that anyone could have a podcast. Now I know now because every TV show makes fun of it. And every TV show is like, oh, it's you have a friend that makes a podcast. And every friend group has the one that's a podcaster.
And now you're that friend.
I don't think we're as obnoxious.
I try not to be.
Well, I just didn't realize that anyone could have a podcast. I didn't realize that, we could just decide one day that we wanted a podcast and then we could figure out how to do it and then we could see ourselves on Spotify and everything.
Yeah, that's been cool.
We were very type A about the whole thing because we were like, we need to make sure we have a few episodes backed up for stock. We need to make sure we have art, we have cohesiveness, we have social media going. So I think we were well planned right from the get-go.
Yeah,
and then
I'd say so.
We had the lovely music from Jonathan. Irene did our very first piece of artwork, which was very nice. And, it was just nice that we had kind of a brand ready to go. Well, not ready to go. We had to build it, but.
But we've really assembled it well over the year.
Yes. I mean, now we have this beautiful art from Mello, which is amazing.
And we have a website.
Yes. We're bloggers now, too. We're not just your podcast friend. We're also your blogger friend.
Yep. We're those cool people, everybody.
Although I do not bother my family nearly enough as I should have to download the blog. Sorry, download the episodes.
Download the blog, guys.
Listen.
That's what we do now.
I'm not the tech side of this. I don't know how that stuff works. I click edit.
Yeah. For those of you who may not know, I am the tech side of things here, so I make sure the back end of the website is up and running and kind of built that. But I also edit the episodes regularly, so I handle all of that tech stuff. But then when it comes to doing the deep dive and stuff, I really turn that over to you, Fox.
Yes.
Because, man, I nearly cried trying to read the Jack Spriggans in that old English, weird hieroglyph. I don't know. It was awful.
And see, that's the kind of stuff I thrive off of. I'm like, old English that doesn't make, any sense. I love it. I'm here for it. Except when there's one or two words where you just can't figure out and you're like, is this saying that she could be the bad guy? Or is this saying that she's the good guy? I'm not quite sure. But it's good that we have a mix of personality types as well. Because if you're more techie, that means that I can kind of hands off it and not risk destroying something.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's a good mix of skills. Also, you often handle the social media stuff, and that's not something I thrive off of either. So
honestly, walking into it, the most I've done on social media had been for work and my own personal accounts. But I remember when we first started, engaging in Twitter very seriously, and there was just this folklore community all there and ready to go, and they had the hashtag events. So we had Mythology Monday, Fairy Tale Tuesday, Weird Wednesday, Folklore Thursday, which is now no longer active.
Rest in peace.
Faustian Friday, Superstition Saturday, Swap Sunday, just all of these different, there was a weekly hashtag that we could kind of engage with. We could see what other people were posting. We could get ideas for the podcast. Share art, it's just, I think, a very fantastic community to have been a part of and, still to be a part of. And, for me, it made the transition easier because it's a bit daunting to start social media and kind of what do I post? What do I say? What hashtags do I use? Who do I talk to? How do I make friends? It's like high school over here. Like, how do I join the cool kids table?
Well, yeah, we were just learning how to use the tool, and we just didn't know anybody, but it felt like we were kind of accepted right from the get go, and it was really a really good, great experience.
Yeah, it's so nice just to meet like all these other podcasters and all these other
Mm-hmm.
folklorists and writers and storytellers, and just see, what's going on in their minds and what do they think about what we have to post and what we think about what they have to post. And I think that's been one of the things that was surprising for me, is I didn't think that would be something that we'd be easily accepted into, because a lot of academic circles and groups and communities tend to be a bit elitist in terms of, well, what's your PhD and what's your thesis on,
Mm-hmm.
and coming into it as just newcomers, what as a lot of podcasters do, actually a lot of them do come in like historical podcasters, classical podcasters, a lot of them do it as a hobby for fun. And so having, that kind of community just open up its arms and say, you know what, like, as long as you're well researched and you have something insightful to add to the conversation, you're welcome.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, and I've liked the variety we've done. Like, the most recent thing we've done was the Star Wars episode, which I actually been nagging you for maybe a year about. Like, I wanted to cover Star Wars, and you were like, this is not a good idea. This is not what we cover. But we've had some really good response to that episode as well. So I really like just the variety that we can do, but also kind of keep it focused on the once upon a time aspect of it all.
Yeah, I mean, Once Upon a Time is so universal now. It happens every, fairy tale shows, TV shows, movies, books, retellings. Everything is just, there's so much material to draw from that it seems almost a shame to keep it secluded. Although, to be fair, in my gatekeeping, I was like, well, Star Wars is a bit too modern, and how are we going to talk about this? Do we have to explain all of Star Wars to everybody? Like, is it going to be a summary of all of Star Wars? But I really enjoyed the debate kind of format you had. So I thought, that's something that we should definitely do in the future. And I'd love to hear if any of the travelers have any suggestions for any TV shows, movies, books they think could potentially be folklore, that we can argue it out, hash it out.
Yeah. Or if anyone just has any fairy tales they want us to cover in the future, like, let us know. You can send us an email at talesfromtheenchantedforest@gmail.com. Or you can let us know on Twitter. We're also active on Instagram if you want to hit us up there. Where else are we on the socials?
We're on TikTok. We're also on literally almost every single podcasting website where you can engage with us through reviews. So we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Samsung, we're on
Good Pods.
Yes, we were just trending recently. I mean, also, the places we've trended, I feel like has been completely random. We trended in Japan for a while. We trended in Greece for a while. I think Turkey for a very short amount of time. But it's been wild. Oh, America for a little bit, it's just, there's no saying who's going to listen and who's not going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And, the reception has been very nice.
Yeah, we've really appreciated all the feedback you guys have given us. And we'd love to hear more from you. So any questions that you have, if you want to leave us a review, please let us know. We'll give you a shout out on the pod. But yeah, we're so grateful for it all, and we're just really looking forward to the next steps in the journey.
That being said, our next step is going to be to take a little break.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we're just going to take a little step back from the podcast for a little bit, just so we can focus on our personal lives for a little bit, get things going for a relaunch, and we will be coming back, better and stronger, and with your suggestions, obviously, if there are any questions or any suggestions as well. But we are hoping to really just stock up on some of our stories and episodes.
As we said before, this is a hobby. We both have full-time jobs as well. And as the trend continues, these years have been quite chaotic. So we're just keeping up with that. We don't want to burn out, but we also want to... Some of these stories we want to cover in the future are kind of meatier, and we really want to make sure we do our proper research on and we really dig into it. So we just want to take some breathing room and time to do that. So we'll be back in July, though, with all of that. But in the meantime, we'll still be active on the socials, or at least Fox will be. I'll be lurking in the background trying to add some, Star Wars and Marvel stuff in there. And we'll also be active on the website, try and post some stuff during our brief hiatus. But yeah. Fox, anything else you want to say?
Yes. In the meantime, please continue to support us by listening to previous episodes, leaving reviews, engaging with us wherever you may find us. and just, give us a little bit of breathing room, and we'll be right back for you guys, travelers. That was a bit cheesy. I feel like we're a K-pop boy band being like, please support us during this difficult time.
Please support us. Let us know what you'd like to see from us next. Because I know we do have some fairy tale stuff cooking, but we also have some tangentially related stuff that's not quite fairy tales cooking that we're really excited for. But yeah, let us know. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and remember, there's always a place for you in the Enchanted Forest.